Hello. Today I will explain the following concepts that you're seeing on my screen. In the last video, we talked about Git locations, and I briefly introduced the concepts of Git add, um, how we can configure Git username and email and password. And this time we will start with types of adding a remote repository. So we can have two different scenarios. The first scenario is that you have a local repository. You have local repository. So you have created the local repository, you have committed some changes, you have several commits in your local repository, and you want to synchronize it by creating a new remote repository and synchronizing the commits. In this case, what we'll do, we will use git add remote, and we will specify the repository URL. In the second case, we don't have a local repository. We have a remote repository, and there are many changes that have been made in that remote repository, and we want to create a copy of that remote repository and as a local one, then work on it. Then what we do, we simply use, in the second case, you don't have local repository. In this case, we will just use git clone and the URL here. So these are the two ways of working with the remote repository. Now let's look at the next concept. Okay, types of merges. Okay, this concept is actually a bit, we have to talk about the concept of branches and etc. But this problem particularly interested me, so I decided to do a research on that topic and how many types of merge do we have. But I think before diving into the types of merges, we have to talk about the Git graph model, and we will explain what directed acyclic graph, a cyclic graph means. So we simply denote the Git's graph model as DAG, which means directed acyclic graph. And it means we will have a graph, and as you know, graphs, if we have directions, then it's a directed graph. And acyclic means that we can't have loop inside the graph. So acyclic, we shouldn't be able to start from one node, this is called node, and go in some certain direction and end up at the same node. So we shouldn't have that kind of behavior. So we don't have a cyclic behavior in our directed graph. We only have this. So how does it work? When we create a repository for the first time, we have a master branch. We don't have any other branches. So we have here a master branch, and then we commit a new change. We made some changes to our file, then we commit those changes, and then we'll have a child commit, and this child commit refers to the parent, and from the child commit, if we make another commit, then there will be a new child, and the new child will point to its parent. So this is the parent, this is the child, and this is the grandparent. Grandparent, parent, and child. So let's go back to the idea of git merge. Let's say we are on the master branch. We made some commits here. And then what we do, here, we create a new branch. Create a new branch. For example, we are working on the feature one of the project, and we keep going like this. Okay. This is the child. And in this case, as you can see, this is the place that this branching occurs. And we haven't made any change since we branched off the master branch to a feature one branch. As you can see, there are no changes here. So in this case, what we can do, we can just, at this point, if we want to merge it to, then this merge is called a pull request, and there will be a new commit here, and this also will, oh no, sorry, this will point to this one. No,